Okay. Okay, well, the people here are here. Let's see if the people there are there. Let me put this over here. Oh, I probably need my glasses if I'm going to read anything out of that book. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Hi, Laura. Morning, Toby. Hi, Palu. I know Irma's probably coming as well. Okay. All right. Today, we're going to use a strap. If you don't have a yoga strap, that's okay. A hand towel or some towel will be good. And we're going to do a new pose today. I try and always add new poses. This one is in lieu of Thanksgiving coming up. So it's called the table pose or upward plank, Eastern plank it's also called. So when we get there, I'll show it to you. We're going to do a lot of preparatory work with the wrist. And then for some people, because the table pose requires you put weight on your hands. So if you are on the chair and you can put your hands more neutral, you can do that. Otherwise, if you have weights at home, you can put your hands on weights and it will neutralize them. But let's start standing up, coming to Samastiti. We'll stand behind our chairs. Remember, when I put the chair here, you can't see me. I disappear. So I'm going to stand over here in the mountain pose. And I'm going to become a mountain. Is the mountain out? Did anybody see? It's out? Oh, okay. I drive north, so I don't see it. So the mountain is out and we will be a mountain, rooting the feet, engaging your inner thighs, addressing the Mula Bandha and the action of Uddiyana without tweezing your tush. Feel the spine lift and lengthen while the fingers reach down and the crown of the head lifts up. So in your attempt to stand upright, you might overshoot the mark by pulling your arms back and leaning your chest up, and that would not be a natural position. That's a little over exaggerated. So we lift the heart, but not to put an exaggerated curve, and then we support with those bandhas. So stand like a mountain while the crown of the head lifts up and the feet root down. Tune into your breath with your eyes lowered or closed. Take a few moments to come to the present, forgetting about what you have done or you will do, and just letting this yoga practice unfold for you. Now, in this cold weather, we often have changes in our nasal passages. So if you need to breathe through your mouth, you just go ahead and breathe through the mouth. As you're standing and breathing, take a little more focus on the exhalation. Almost feel like you're pushing your belly in to help expel the air out. The result is a lovely inhalation. Come to notice your shoulders. Are your shoulders tense? I mean, shoulders and necks can be sore from activities, but are you holding muscle tightness for some reason? So while staying strong and using our muscles to hold our buns up, we also want to soften non-essential muscles. So a little bit of that. Floating the arms halfway out to the sides of your body. Feeling the wingspan expand, grounding the feet, lifting through the crown of the head. Again, your eyes are lowered or closed. If you ever need to, pop an eye open, see what I'm doing. Bringing the palms together into the heart, slightly bowing the head, adjusting that attitude into one of gratitude. As we move to another holiday season, right? And raising our head, let's warm up the hands a little bit. Our room is a little chilly here. I don't know about at home, but if you got a fireplace, I used to do this class at home in front of my fireplace. I could just put my hands by the fireplace. So a little bit of warmth. And then take the warmth of your hands, takes mine a little bit longer, so I'm going to rub a little faster. Take the hands onto your knees and let the hands just move around the knees. Still breathing. Now when you're bent over, you're going to pause here, putting the hands just above the knees. So my hips are gone back, my knees are not pushing out over my toes. Bandhas as always. I'm going to begin a little baby cat and cow. So we should call it puppy and kitten, I guess. So not the full range of motion through your spine, but just a little drop of the tailbone and a little bow of the head and a little tuck of your belly. Then when you breathe in, a little lift of your tailbone will look a little outward. Learn to do things moderately and grow them. Exhale, round. Inhale, lift. So you have, a place to go to. It's not like you just went there. And that's something we cultivate. I think that's one of the blessings of age, that we understand we don't have to just get there, boom, that we can enjoy the sensations, the journey along the way to your destination becomes more important. So I'm tightening the belly. This is my cat pose, and lifting the tailbone and lifting my chest. I'm not a fan of throwing the head back. You will see people do that. I just don't think that's necessary for us. From your cat pose and mindful of your blood pressure and feeling the inner thighs squeeze together, roll yourself up. So go ahead and let go of those thighs. Come back to your mountain pose and see if you can find that mountain pose again. Remember, we have habits in our body. Take a picture of yourself, and this could be me, because I do see pictures of me taking pictures, and this is what I'm doing. Oh, no, 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 no. So then put the hands upon the hips and separate your feet a little wider, and we'll do a little circular pattern, also really nice for our sacrum. Now we're opening into the hips and the groins area. And we breathe. And we go the other way. And a little more into the hip, and this one also includes a little balance. So if you just kind of snug up next to your chair or counter or whatever you're using, you should have a chair. The name of this class is chair yoga. So you put your hand on the chair, stand on the leg closest to that chair. Could be the same as mine, it could be the other side. The other hand could just stay on your waist to keep it out of the way or out to the side. Pull up on your standing leg, as we know that gives more support, and just move this leg in a little circular pattern. Doesn't have to be high, leg doesn't have to be straight. Here's what it looks like from the side, leg going to the behind. And you breathe. Kind of like stirring a pot. Let's go the other way. So one of our members in the group is having a large Thanksgiving. So Mary will tell us her address when we're done with our practice today, so we all know how to get to her house. And stand on 2 feet. As you stand, coming back to mountain pose, applying all those principles, maybe you notice you feel a little strengthening on that standing leg, or maybe that's an issue leg for you. And then carefully walk around to the other side. Root down as you stand. Again, I'm not in front of the chair. This wouldn't be very prudent, so I want to see where my chair is. Bandhas and breath, pulling up, and there's just a few circles of that leg. Remind yourself to make sure it gets to the back side, because it will often short you in this little circle. Keep breathing. And then go the other way. Quiet the body. So if you feel your body is responding, this should be more isolated from the hip joint. Do you feel like you're in Miss Karen's ballet class? Couple more. And return to Tadasana. Take in the stability of 2 feet, the use of your muscles to hold your bones up. So that will be our mantra for us. Now we're going to take a seat, let our hips rest a little bit, sitting at the front of the chair, landing soufflé. So we're going to go to the wrists. I'm going to pull up my sleeves here, as I often do. So if you can, lace the fingers, but if that really doesn't work for your hands, clasp the hands. And so we're going to just try a few circles. Now the elbows will stay at my side, and I'm just kind of circling the wrist with my hands together. And I breathe. Then go the other way. Just trying all the different variations. Now, how about a figure eight? Can you make a figure eight? So I'm like a hitchhiker thumb, dropping my thumb down from each, and that gets a little more out of your wrist. Figure eights, like the number 8, rather than a circle like the number 0. Not side to side, but that little gentle, cascading, rotating. Nice. Again, not forcing the wrist, but I am going to take one hand forward. Let's do the right hand. Show me the back of your right hand. Your elbow is straight. It doesn't have to stay up here high. I just think it's easier for you to see my hand if I do this. So if you're comfortable, if your shoulder is more comfortable down here, but straighten the elbow. Point the fingers of your right hand off to the other side. Use your other hand, come behind the fingers, and try and fold your fingers to your wrist with your elbow straight. So let me get in straight and show you guys at home. So I was like this, then I took my hands, and I'm trying to fold. If I look down here, my finger, look at that, I'm pretty darn close. And you should feel this in your forearms. But if you bend your elbows, you won't, so. Still mindful of your breath and bend as A. And we'll go the other direction. So here my suggestion as I show you the palm of my hand. My fingers from the other hand do not just push on my fingers. I need them across where they connect at the joint, so I'm not like forcing and bending my fingers back. I put my hand across everything, straighten the elbow, flex the wrist, and just gently keep those fingers straight. So, some of us have issues with hands, and straightening those fingers aren't really something we should do, but we can straighten the elbow, flex the wrist, and then if you can, take the fingers back and straighten. And you breathe. How's this going? So hands come down to the fingers, but also part of the palm. Straighten your elbow. Nice. And as I like to tell people, if something pops, make a wish. Just kidding. Then as I release, I'm going to let this right wrist just kind of circle around a little. So it may be the case that the other hand is your cranky hand. So let's just see, extend the left arm forward, elbows straight, pointing your fingers off that away. Other hand comes in and folds the hand inward. Is this different for you? Or is it the same? It's different for me. I am using my right hand. What I'm observing is my fingers are just not as close to my wrist as they were on the left hand. My supposition would be if you're right arm dominant, then my muscles are probably bigger and stronger on this side. So, can't get there from here. This is my puny side, so more available. There are things in our life called habits, and the more that we use one arm or one leg, if you go up the steps, always use the right leg, you're going to probably have a stronger right leg. Makes sense, doesn't it? Take a breath. Turn the palms forward, and the arms don't have to be high. You can lower them down. Elbow is straight. And then again, as I said, lay into the palm and the fingers. Press the elbow straight. Gently pull those hands back. There are some who say we should never push on those fingers back, but that's not as practical, I don't think. So, very good. Don't break anything. Find your breath, your bandhas. Are you creeping into your shoulders? Sometimes that will happen. As you let go, let the left hand go around a little bit, and this will be useful when we get to that table pose. Okay, let's sit nice and tall and extend your right leg. If you cannot get that right leg straight, and I'm going to veer a little on the angle, it makes it a little better viewing. Since I'm all in black, I look smaller when I'm black, don't I? Someone told me that yesterday. Karen, you were wearing all black and you look just so. I went, well, good, I'm just going to always wear black. So the hands find the back edge of your chair. Hold on, doesn't matter where. And then just feel your spine lift nice and tall. Oh my gosh, this is so good. I am going to exaggerate my shoulders going back, then relaxing them. So I know I don't want to be here, but I would like to be here. So that makes a little difference. So one leg is straight, one knee is bent, legs are not together. Bandhas and breath. Stay up this time. Take in your neutral spine. When you let go with the arms, let's bring the hands to our heart. Retain this natural curve in your spine. Uttanasana, a forward fold. So we lead with our hands and our heart, shifting the body weight forward. If for any reason this makes you feel nervous or uncomfortable and you'd rather hold the back of the chair, the seat of the chair, the hands on the lap, feel free and do that. Keep going, and you may not go as far as me, or you may go further. Your objective is to feel the back of that extended leg. Bandhas in, breath. Usually we look to the toe that's lifted in front. Really engage the core. Use the hands at the heart. Lift the heart. Use your back muscles to lift you up. Pause here. So we're going to go into a rotation. So if there's anyone that I didn't see that should not twist here, when I go forward, I'll simply look to my bent leg. So when I go forward, I'll look to my bent leg. For those who say, I want more. So when you go forward, you're going to take the arm of the straight leg, slide it over the bent knee. Now the bent knee might try to come in to help, but you're going to slide it over that leg. And then you're going to reach the other arm outward, and if you can, upward. But we'll get there very slowly, just so that you have that in your mind. That twist may be something you want or don't want to do. Get nice and tall. Uttanasana, so the heart goes forward. You're going out between those two legs. Pause. Decide if you just want to turn and look over that bent leg, or if you want to take the opposing arm over the bent leg, so it's kind of wedged in there. Then release what might be your left arm outward. Watch it as it travels outward and upward, and maybe by pulling the bottom shoulder forward and the top shoulder back, you move into rotation. So we're down pretty low, leaning forward and reaching up. We know in yoga, traditionally, we look at the high hand. That might not feel good to your neck, so you can look down or you can look outward. If your hand is up, bring it back down. Let's all move those hands back to our heart. Engage your bandhas. Lift the heart. Use your back muscles. Come all the way up. Swap legs. Find the back of your chair. Reconfirm that you were sitting nice and tall and that leg is straight. Do a few shoulders this way, shoulders that way. I'm going to shed this shirt because I am kind of warming up. Excuse me. You just keep moving those shoulders back and forth. Yes, I do have another shirt underneath. I know. It's the nightmare of a fitness person, I tell you. All right, so we're back joining. And now release the hands into my heart. And leading with my hands and my heart, Uttanasana. May feel a little different. You may have more or less flexibility in the back of that thigh. Bandhas, if you feel a little nervous, like maybe you could fall out of your chair, put your hands on your thighs or hold on to the chair, but just let the heart keep leaning forward. Breath and bandhas. Gaze at that extended toe. Sometimes the toes tend to veer out, so make sure they're pointing upward. Lift the heart, lengthen the spine, rise all the way up, and we do the twist. So maybe the twist isn't, so you go forward and look over the bent leg, or we're going to take the opposite arm over the leg. So inhale, nice and tall. Exhale, leaning forward, bandhas and breath. Go as far as you can between the legs. Now either just turn and look, or take that arm outside the bent leg, drop it down so it like slides down the outside. Release the top arm and let it stretch out and maybe go all the way up. And it's the pushing of the bottom shoulder forward that makes the top shoulder go back. So it's less about the arms and more about your collarbone. If I had no arms, I could still do this because I am twisting. Is anybody breathing? Watch the hand as it mindfully comes back. Bandhas pull in as the hands transition into your heart. Lift the chest, rise from that forward fold and come back. Nice. Bring the hands onto the thighs, press on your thighs as you go down, and then kind of tickle your legs as you go back. Yeah. I like this feeling for my thighs. It's like a little self-massage, isn't it? Okay, I have prepared my hamstrings, and I want to do one more standing one for the front of my legs, so the hip flexors. So try and stand yourself up, and we're going to come to the side of the chair so that you're going to be using the back of the chair for balance. So maybe if I were to turn my chair, then I could face you and you could see me. So I'm holding the chair this way, and then if eventually you want to go further down, you can. So either or. I'm going to leave the legs up to you. Pick a leg, and then when I say do the other leg, do the other leg. So I am standing to hold the chair. I'm like right up next to it. I'll bend both of my knees. Use maybe the leg closest to your chair. Lean forward and put it back. Wiggle it back so you have that chair right there with one hand. The other knee is bent, and then you're going to lift up that chest. So you have one hand on the chair and the other hand going forward. Nice. If you want to, because the back heel is up, it's an option, raise the other arm, and rather than thinking up, I want you to go downward and squeeze the back thigh. When you squeeze the back thigh and straighten that knee more, you should feel more of a pull at the front of the thigh. Yes? Relax the shoulders. I'm leaving your arms in front because they are a load to your core. When the arms are in front, the back has to manage that weight distribution. And lean forward, step the back foot up, come and stand like a mountain, move to the other side. So you want the hand and leg that you're using. Bend the knees, tip forward, leg closest to the chair, step back, wiggle your foot. So you see I've moved into that diagonal line. That gives me a lot of opportunity to get distance. Then using the chair, bring my body upright, front knee bend. I already feel a little pull. Extend the other arm. Feel free to stay here because, you know, you're on the ball of the foot. Or you can take the hand off. And once you feel that pull at the top of your thigh, I'd like a little bit more. Squeeze your thigh muscle and make that knee straighten just a little more. That's all we ask, a little more. Sink down into crescent pose. And again, if you're feeling a little wobbly, this is why we have our chair here. It doesn't really change the configuration. Find your breath, use your back muscles, bandhas. Everything plays in concert. Find the chair, leaning forward, takes the pressure off, drag the back foot up. Stand like a mountain for a moment. I'm going to turn and face you. I'm going to stretch my upper backs. The thumbs are down. We know this to be eagle arms. Cross your right arm over your left arm at wrist, or if you can cross all the way to elbows. Then bend your elbows. So that might mean you're up here, or it could mean you're like here. So wherever you are, even your shoulders. So if you're in the room with me and you want to turn and look and, oh, I'm good. So this can happen. Make sure that both shoulders are equal. Raise the elbows, even if your hands are here. Exhale, bend your knees and draw those elbows into your belly. Look through your fingers. And breathe. In this eagle pose arm, I want you to feel the broadening through the back, through the shoulder blades. You're slightly pitched forward, not enough to bother your blood pressure, so just a little tip forward, just enough to feel the broadening between the shoulder blades. When you stand up, we fly the eagle. So the arms go up, the thumb comes down, the body comes nice and tall. Now cross left arm over right, could be at the wrist, could go all the way to the elbow. Bend the elbows, back of the hands together. Some of us wrap the hands, some just leave the back of the hands together. Feel your shoulders even. If you're here, turn and check. Yep, I'm good. Raise the elbows up when you breathe in. Bend the knees, draw the elbows in towards your belly. Look through your fingers And again, feel the broadening through your shoulder blades as we do eagle pose. So the elbows are pulling into your belly. Pull your elbows in. There you go. Even if the wrists are crossed, that's okay. You're here and you're just rounded. Breathe. Stand up, fly the eagle, thumb down, little finger up, and close the posture. Okay, let's go ahead and get into the Thanksgiving pose. Table pose, you're going to use your chair. I'll show you some options as I kind of turn my chair so you can see. This requires weight on your hands. So for those of you with wrist issues, consider all the options, including if you had weights. Now this is traditionally done on the floor, and if you're at home or you're here and you want to do it on the floor, you're welcome to, but we're going to do it from the chair. This is back strengthening, shoulder strengthening, extension, so it's going to put a lot of energy into us. So for the moment, observe, and then I'll walk you through. And if you look at this and go, I don't know, I'll try and give you enough options that you can do one of them. So let me just show you. This is table pose. So you have to set a nice table, Mary, for all 15 people that are coming. First, I scoot out to the edge of the chair. Now you don't have to do this. You want to take it in visually, because some of us learn better that way while I'm speaking. For those who take it in, then those of us who have to do things, you'll have an opportunity. You can hold the edge of the chair. That's a little easier on wrist. You can traditionally, put my fingers toward my bum? How can I do that? That is traditional. I'm not going to argue with anyone who wants to turn the arms the other way. People do. So this or this, I'm going to do it traditional. So you're going to see my hands pointing toward my bum, and then I'm going to slide my bum off the chair and lift my hips. So that may feel, my feet are not together, it looks like it at home. It may feel like that's too much, so as I back my hips up, the alternative is grabbing the edge of the chair, pulling my shoulders down, lifting up my chest, raising my hips, and then I make a table. Now, if I were to do this on the floor, it would be more like a table because I'm on the floor. So here's what I usually do in my regular classes: lift up the chest, lift up my hips. Now there's a table. Do you see it? Yeah. Then for those people that come to that regular class, I go, well, you could put one leg out. And when you get really good, you could put two legs out. I say, no, that's the Cirque du Soleil version. So that's what we're going to try. If you have weights, you can put them here like this, or maybe you could just be on your knuckles. You do not have to lift your hips up if it makes you feel comfortable. Notice how your chair is responding, because it's a chair, and maybe you need to push it up against a wall at home because we all have different chairs. Shall we give it a try? Okay, dinner served. So hands as you might want to try, legs not together, bundles and breadth. So just think lifting the chest and straightening the elbows. This could be good enough. And if you feel you can slip the hips off, just look down your thighs, or maybe look up. And you breathe. Now scoot your hips back, feel the chair before you release, and then slide back on depending on your material and everything. And then do a little abracadabra with your wrist. If that worked for you, we'll repeat it again, the table pose. So the focus is a couple of different options. Looking down your legs is great. Looking up is great. There is a version where your head drops back. I don't advocate for it, but some people do it and they love it. It's not for anybody who has a vertigo thing, so take that under advisement. There you go. See how that works for you. Or you can just wait, because in yoga, waiting is an option. So maybe all you did was this: I intend to be a table. Okay. So where your hands are is where your hands are. As you inhale, lift up your chest. As you exhale, slip off the chair, lift up the hips, and breathe. Again, where you look is up to you today. And if you need to stop and not do it, that's okay. Both knees are bent. The weight is on your feet and your hands. You're a four-legged table. Bring your head forward, lower your hips down, Scoot your hips back, find the chair safely, and get off your hands. Do you see how exhilarating it is? You should feel energized. So now we're going to try the upward plank or Eastern plank. So again, from the ground, this one looks like this. You know, someday I'm not going to be able to do this getting down on the floor stuff anymore, so I'm doing it while I can. My ankles squeeze together. Again, my fingers point toward my bum, and then where my hands are is under my shoulders. So if this were Eastern plank, I could pause here. I could lift here, I could go here, and I could go here. I'm not saying one is better than another, and we can do it from the chair, don't you know you can. So if you look at that and say, I'm good with the table pose, can I do that again? I'd say, sure. You have a choice to do the table pose or the Eastern plank. Same thing with hands. So if you need that accommodation, hold on to the edge of the chair. Did the weights work for you? No. Try your knuckles. See if you, and the thumbs are forward, and see if that helps. Or get up and hold the edge of the chair. So then there's only that much weight. So if you're going to do Eastern plank, again, it's a chair. Legs are out. You're on your heels, and the ankles are tied together. Kind of like the legs on a turkey, right? Inhale, lift the chest, and maybe that's all you want to do. Maybe you say, you know, this is good. If you want to stretch the toes forward and lift the bum up, then you're in Eastern plank. Shoulders and hands in a relationship of one over the other. Lifting the hips extends the back, and if this is not to your liking, just wait. We're not going to do this but one more time. Now to come out, you lower the hips, bend the knees, push your hips back so you can get back on the chair and do the little abracadabra. So do you have a preference over one, table or plank? Either or neither. So I have found over the years of doing yoga, the ones that I'm really good with are less beneficial to me than the ones I don't like and I'm not very good with. Because even if I can't do it, the effort of me struggling and trying to find the best variation, including waiting, is a better process than like, oh yeah, I could do this all day. So take that in for what I'm saying, and let's do your choice. You can do the table. I'm going to do Eastern plank again. So position, knees are bent, feet apart for the table pose. Otherwise, you're on the heels, ankles together. Inhale, lift your chest. So if this all you did and didn't lift your bum, isn't this a beautiful pose as well? For those who are going to lift the hips, stretch the toes forward in plank, or if the knees are bent, you're going to put weight on your feet, lift up, breathe. Stay in the moment as you're able. And then slowly lower your hips down. That'll bring your face forward, move your feet back, get yourself on the chair, and finish with a little here. Nice. So we're going to go back and do a little twist, this time with our legs together as I turn to face you. So those were our new poses. We'll do them next year, same time. So, yeah, it's like a seasonal pose. Yeah. It's a thing about wrist, and you see why I did this, to kind of get us to understand we still have need to use our wrist. So bring your feet, your knees together. So we're going to do that twist. Remember a moment ago we were like this and we went like this? Say yes? Okay. So we're going to do that again, but with the knees together. So use the back of the chair to get your spine up nice and tall. And then as you Uttanasana forward, bring the heart forward, and we're going to do all the variations together. So your right forearm lays across your thigh, and your right hand grabs behind your left knee. So as you look down, your knees are side by side, your right arm is across your thigh, and you're holding the back of the left leg. Release the left arm as it reaches to the floor. Envision you had no arms, and this was just about your shoulders. So your right shoulder moves downward, your left shoulder moves upward, and because your hand is attached, it reaches skyward. So I have bottom shoulder down, top shoulder up. Even if my arm doesn't straighten all the way, the intention is there. And release back down. Now we're going to stay here with both hands on the thighs, and you can repeat what we just did. Or you're going to bring the hands to the heart, slide the right elbow outside your left leg. And if that doesn't happen, if you cannot get here out of the way, if you cannot get your elbow over to the side, this is not going to be your option. So some of them, we just can't get there from here. So you may have to go back and use this option. But for those who can, bring the hands to the heart, slide your right elbow over the left thigh and down, keeping those knees together, bringing the palms together. If you're holding the thigh like we did before, go ahead and lift that top arm. With those of us, our hands in prayer, do you feel it's at your shoulder? Push the top arm, also known as your left, into the right hand. And the more you push with that top arm, you can turn, bringing the bottom shoulder forward and the top shoulder back. And we breathe. Slowly return center, hands on your thigh. We're going to roll up very sweetly, rolling up through the spine. So I get the whole thing. I want to do what she's doing, but I can't quite. So I'll just so this is less beneficial to you if you cannot get that elbow over your thigh than this one. So I just want to reiterate that. But we're going to do that first one all together anyway, just so you can know how good it feels. Hands behind, lift up tall. So this is always the beginning to everything. Sit tall. I guess my father was right. Sit up straight, young lady. So bring the hands to your thigh. Uttanasana. I lean forward. Left arm goes across the top of my thigh. Left hand grabs the back of the right knee, unless you switched it up, in which case keep track of your own arms and legs. Knees stay centered. Drop the right arm. Again, if I had no arms, I could simply push my bottom shoulder forward. My top shoulder would go back. Otherwise, I'm going to use the arm as a focus. So that bottom shoulder is pushing forward and the top shoulder back. So even if the arms, I'm going off camera just for a second. So even if the arms don't go anywhere, it's all about the shoulders. But keep your knees even. Yeah. So as that bottom shoulder goes forward, the top shoulder goes back. Forget about the arm, bend the elbow for a moment and just get this motion. Is that okay for your shoulder? Mm-hmm. Exhale, come back center. Use your hands on your thighs and bring yourself up. So I made a few adjustments for people. I'm feeling like I can get back and touch people again. So all I did was, when I was here, I pushed one shoulder down and I helped pull the other shoulder back. Because you see, it has nothing to do with your arms, but I get when you're looking at it, you think, she's pulling her arm up there. I'm not pulling my arm up there. I'm moving my shoulders. The arm is simply an extension of the shoulder. That should save you a lot of grief if you have shoulder issues. So let's go do that other option. Nice and tall. Hands at heart. Hinging forward, bandhas and breath. So you can just lay that arm down like you just did, or hook the left elbow over your left thigh, dropping your shoulder down. You'll find the hands are at the high shoulder, and by pushing the high hand into the low hand, that's how you get your spiral, where you turn and look behind and slightly up. Very nice. Everyone has their knees properly placed. Turn and look to your right as best you can, and you breathe. It's hard to breathe twisted. I think we might agree. As you release, put the hands on the thigh, bow the head, and roll yourself up. So we're going to do one more for the hips. So we didn't do a whole lot of balancing today, but we had new things to put into our practice. If you want to do the seated one here for our hip, where we lift, and we're going to bind the hands behind us. So if it looked from the side, it probably would give you a little better view. So here I am, And because I ask you to have a strap or a towel, if you cannot get the hands behind you, you can use your handy dandy little arm extender, and that might be better. I usually will double, oh gosh, maybe I even need to go for, so let's just say my shoulders weren't feeling like they wanted to go behind. So maybe I can just do this. So my hands are not together. So I would be a seated version. And then the crazy people like me might want to, if I have my hands behind holding a strap or putting my hands together, I'm not going to be able to hold onto the chair, am I? So if I were to place the thigh here, sit back and lean forward, let's see if I can turn it a little bit. So there I go. Yeah, so if you were so bold and if you are ready, I put that out there. But if you say, yeah, I think I'm just going to do the chair and be happy with my hips and opening my chest. So this is an opener for the hips and for the shoulders. So I'll set you up on the chair for those of you doing this with or without a strap behind you. Let's do a right ankle on left thigh, hands behind, lift the chest. Try and straighten the elbows, and on your own terms, go forward. If you're choosing the standing option, choose well. Extend the right leg, hands are in bind. Lift the right leg and place it above your left thigh. Standing knee bends as the chest goes forward, hips go back, arms go up, and you breathe. So it's freaky going forward when you don't have your hands in front. So letting that knee fall out. Beautiful. Somebody should be breathing, she's saying. Slowly release. As you come up, you're going to release the arms behind you. If you've got the strap, doesn't matter which one. And offload the leg. Look, I didn't even use my hands. So seated people are going to go ahead, prepare for the other side, bind, lift, extend, hinge. Those who might want to try the standing one, get to bind first, extend left leg, straighten the arms. Stay here a moment to kind of get sturdy on that leg and mindful with your breath. And then ready, standing knee bends, hips go back, chest goes forward, and we all breathe. From wherever you are, release your body upward, release the arms outward. Let's all come back to the chair. Do a moment of sit and spin. So just let your body revolve around. And you breathe. And a few times the other way. So we're going to move into Shavasana. We're going to do so with a little bit of blocking of our senses. So get yourself comfortable. If you need to put a coat back on or a shirt back on, bring a little warmth into your hands. And once you have that, they don't have to touch your eyeballs. You're going to kind of like make. So you remember those things when you went to the pool, ladies, and you used to put these little cup things over your eyes? I did a tanning bed for a few moments in my life, and I think they gave you those too. So that they don't have to touch your eyes. You're just going to create a little cupping motion over the eyes. So you'll get comfortable. Just watch first, because I'll have you do the eyes first, the ears second. So you're just going to take your hands and just bow your head and take the light, whatever it is around you, away. Then I'll have you rub your hands again. And then the next one I'll have them put over your ears. And the sensation of putting your hands over your ears is very different. I will go into a tunnel that you'll hear me talking in a tunnel. And then you will hear your breathing more pronounced. And then I will let you release your hands and finish your Shavasana. So these two things that we do, okay? So get yourself comfortable, not all crossed up. If you're going to lay down at home, you're doing the same thing. So warm the hands, and when ready, you just lay those hands over the eyes enough to block the light. And breathe. Slowly remove the hands. You can leave your eyes closed. Rub the hands together one more time. And we're going to take the hands and cup them over our ears. I won't really talk except when I ask you to remove your hands. Go ahead, put them over your ears. Slowly release your hands. Relax them. Relax yourself for a few further moments as you wait in this quiet place, not letting your mind jump around as it might like to, either remaining focused on your breath or maybe on that deprivation of senses from the eyes or from the ears. And deepen the breath as you wiggle your fingers and toes to awaken the body and retain the calm. Now you know where it is, so hopefully you left breadcrumbs and you can find it. Thoughts today are about friendship. A true friend is the greatest of all blessings and that which we take the least care to acquire. We don't typically set out to make a friend the same way we set out to get a job or win attention of someone we're attracted to. Friends just seem to happen. We work or play together, discover that we share the same things in common, and generally a friendship grows. Or we face some hardship or misfortune together, and a friendship arises through mutual support. We make friends casually, but once they're part of our lives, we should be careful not to take them for granted. For our friends make us better, stronger, and happier, and we should do the same for them. Thought then for us today, I remember every day how lucky I am to have friendships. And today I'm going to tell my friends how much I appreciate them. And so with that said, sit yourself up nice and tall. As you lift the arms, also lift your spirit, your consciousness, and put the hands together and with them at your heart. The light in me honors the light in you. We say, Namaste. And I am thankful for you. I count you among my friends. You are my people. So thank you for coming. Thank you for joining at home. I am here one more Wednesday next week. Then you just get me on demand. So thanks, Janine and Laura and Palou and Ermal and Sarma and Tom and Sharon and Toby. You all have a good rest of your day. Namaste.